Hey, what's up, guys? After a week's break or so for the Christmas madness, I'm back with some more videos. This is my second NBA 2K slash real life mock draft. I've got about 70 players created, so this is a two-round version for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe, like, all that stuff. It'll really help me out. Um, so yeah, I ran another lottery simulation with the website tankathon.com, which is an amazing website. If you haven't checked it out, do. It's a sports draft fan's nerd's dream. So yeah, let me just all that said and done, let me get started. All right, pick one for the Pelicans, who won the lottery for the second straight simulation that I've done. I'm still going to stick with Chet Holmgren, power forward, big man from Gonzaga. This is definitely a three-man draft class right now with Holmgren, Paolo Banchero, and Jabari Smith. Three power forwards, three totally different players. It's impossible right now for me to decide who's better. It all depends on team need, team fit, blah, blah, blah. We'll sort it out as we go along. But right now I'm going to stick with Holmgren. He's the unicorn of the class. He's probably the biggest bust out of the three, but I mean, the guy can handle the ball, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can block shots, he can run the floor. Basically what you're looking for in a new school big man. Yeah, he needs to gain weight, but that's not as important in today's NBA with, you know, the free-flowing offense and the complete lack of ability to play physical defense. So this could be any of the three big men. They're all rated the same in my draft class, and they're all neck and neck. It's definitely a three-man class, three great 6'10 and up players, three totally different prospects. Can't go wrong with any of them, but I'll stick with Holmgren for now. So pick one, the Pelicans select Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga. All right, with the second pick, the New York Knicks, who moved up quite a few spots thanks to the ping pong balls, select Paolo Banchero, power forward from Duke. Hasn't been a great season for Knicks fans, but man, wouldn't this be amazing if they lucked out and got a guy like this. Yeah, they already have Julius Randle on the roster, and Banchero does a lot of the same things, especially on offense, but hey, you got to draft the best player available, and I think that's him. The offense is what you're getting with Banchero. A great three-point shooter, a great ball handler. Just he can score everywhere, and he's impossible to stop in college, and he's going to be a pretty good scorer in the NBA, I think. Reminds me a bit of, I'm a Nuggets fan, reminds me a bit of Carmelo Anthony in his younger days. That's a lofty praise because Anthony was an amazing scorer, but I see similar traits when I look at him. Yeah, so the Knicks, I mean, where would he fit on this current roster? I don't know, but if you fly all the way up to the second pick, you don't overthink it, and you just draft a great talent and figure out how to use them later. So pick two, the New York Knicks select Paolo Banchero from Duke. All right, with the third pick, the Orlando Magic, who are lucky enough to remain in the top three and finally have a chance to land an actual superstar, select Jabari Smith, power forward from Auburn. Yeah, man, this guy is a stud. He's right there with Chet Holmgren and Paolo Banchero for the first overall pick. I mean, look at the numbers. He's an amazing shooter for a man his size. 83% from the free throw line, 45%. No, let me start over. 83% from the free throw line, 45% from three-pointer, almost 2 steals a game, 2 assists. He can rebound, he can shoot, he can handle the, I mean, this is just a guy who's ready and made for the NBA game. He's going to come in and be good right away. The Magic have some talent. Cole Anthony, Franz Wagner, Mo Bamba. There's a few good players on this team. but none with the potential that Jabari Smith has. He's going to be a very good NBA player. I'm excited to see the top three of these top three power forwards and how they all pan out in the NBA, because it's exciting. It's exciting to see these three guys. It's exciting to see three different players. So 3-man draft. If you land in the top three, you're going to be well rewarded, I think. So pick 3, the Magic select Jabari Smith, big man from Auburn. All right, with pick 4, the Portland Trail Blazers select Jaden Ivey, shooting guard from Purdue. So Portland didn't get into the top 3, but they managed to move up to number 4, which Jaden Ivey, who's just having a fantastic sophomore season, probably the best non-freshman in college basketball. Easily the best guard in this class. It's really not even close right now. Look at the numbers. 52% field goal percentage, 44% from 3, rebounder, ball handler, defender, just a fantastic shooting guard. Portland, obviously, their 2 best players are the guards, but if they continue to be this bad all season, there's definitely going to be changes. Plus, Jaden Ivey, tier 1 would be the 3 big men, but Jaden Ivey is in tier 2 all by himself, in my opinion. A nice consolation prize for whoever winds up at number 4, which would be Portland in this case, who selects Jaden Ivey from Purdue. With the 5th pick, the Detroit Pistons select guard/forward Kendall Brown from Baylor. Detroit, with the worst record in the NBA, falls down to number 5. That's the way the lottery balls bounce sometimes, but Kendall Brown is a good player, good wing player. It's hard to tell how great he really is. I mean, he was a high recruit, and Baylor is just flying through their opponents right now. Really have not been tested much at all, but you can't ignore these numbers. 71% field goal percentage, 50% from 3. That's what you get. You get a guy who's 6'8", great size, and just an amazing shooting stroke. Scoring is always in demand, and this guy can just, those numbers speak for themselves. 13 points a game, good ball handler, solid defender. Probably my top guy in the tier 3 right now. Detroit, they don't get one of the amazing talents, but they get a pretty good player with Kendall Brown from Baylor. Okay, with the 6th pick, the Houston Rockets select Patrick Baldwin Jr. from Milwaukee. He's not having a good season. I mean, he's a good player, he's a good talent, but Milwaukee somehow, despite landing probably the best mid-major recruit in college basketball history, maybe. I haven't looked it up, but yeah, they're 3-8 with him, which is not a good look. If Baldwin went to Duke or something else, he'd probably be having twice as good of a season, but I really haven't watched any Milwaukee games, but I would assume that everybody's just collapsing on the guy big time, and he's really got no chance. But there's flashes there. He's got a 26-point game on his resume. He can really shoot. He's got great size. I think if he can just survive his college basketball season and get into the NBA draft, he will be evaluated pretty well, and I still see him as a definite top 10 pick. A lot of question marks with guys around this range after you get through the top 4, so he can pour buckets. I see a Harrison Barnes-like player, and the Rockets have a definite need for guys who can score, and they have a ton of picks, so they can take the so-called risk here. So with pick 6, Houston selects Patrick Baldwin Jr. from Milwaukee. All right, with pick 7, Oklahoma City Thunder selects power forward Keegan Murray from Iowa. So Keegan Murray, it was Luka Garza's team in Iowa big time last year, but Murray he showed definite flashes, but this year he's exploded. he might be college basketball's player of the year right now. The numbers speak for themselves. 23 points per game, 8 rebounds, 57% field goal percentage, 83% free throw percentage, 30% three-point percentage, which is good for a power forward. Doesn't have the amazing upside that a lot of these top 10 guys have, but I mean, he's quite talented, and those numbers speak for themselves. I have not been impressed with a lot of the freshmen, so he moves up. I mean, he keeps creeping up in my mock drafts, and he's at number 7 now, which is definitely the highest I've had him. I don't know if he's the 7th best player in this draft, but the Thunder have 3 first-round picks, so get a guy who probably has a low bust potential and can definitely be a solid contributor and starter right away, especially for a team like the Thunder, who have 17 million draft picks coming up and should just go with talent right now. So with pick 7, the Thunder select Keegan Murray, Iowa. With the 8th pick, the Sacramento Kings select Jalen Duren, center from Memphis. Duren's a tough one to figure out. If this was, 2005, he would be a definite top 5 pick. He's a bruiser down low, definitely a classic old school center. These guys are kind of devalued these days, but he's very talented. Memphis is kind of in a mess this year, and Duren had a stretch where he just was not providing much at all, but he's stepped it back up. Good shot blocker. Think like, I don't know. Definitely not Dwight Howard. He's not as good as Dwight Howard was coming out of high school, but that similar type of guy, just park him down low and he's going to shoot 65% from the field. He's not going to take any three-pointers. He's going to block some shots, clog the lane, grab rebounds. Is a player like that valuable in today's NBA? I mean, I think there's still spots for these guys, and he's talented. I mean, this is pick 8. I think it's a good spot for him. The Kings have Rashawn Holmes at center already, but not much behind him, and who knows what, they're always in transition, so I just put the best player available for the Kings. Duren, I think he goes anywhere from like 8 to 13, and he could wind up being, I think he'll be a definite starting center in the NBA. It just depends on how teams value a guy like this who doesn't shoot threes and doesn't shoot much out of the lane at all, but defender, a definite presence down low, a good rebounder, and athletic enough to run the floor. So there's a spot for Jalen Duren in the league. We'll just have to see how high teams value him. So pick 8, the Kings select Jalen Duren, center from Memphis. All right, with pick 9, the Indiana Pacers select Benedict Mathurin, shooting guard, small forward from Arizona. This guy's on a mission right now for Arizona. 18 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, great shooting percentages across the board. With the past 5 games, he's got a 24-point game, he's got a 30-point game, he's got a 28-point game. Arizona's got quite a few draft prospects, but Mathurin's he's just what you want in a wing player. He's got good size, he can handle the ball, he's got great length, a solid defender, a good shooter. I could see him going as high as number 5 if he can keep it up. Every team needs wing players who can do a little bit of everything, including and definitely scoring the basketball. The Pacers have talent, but they're just stuck in no man's land right now, and not good enough to really make noise in the playoffs, but not bad enough to bottom out and get a top talent. So best player available for them, which is Mathurin from Arizona. All right, with pick number 10, the San Antonio Spurs select AJ Griffin, small forward from Duke. I left Griffin out of my mocks until this last one here because he was hardly getting any playing time. But yeah, Duke's starting to give him some minutes, and he is most definitely producing. This guy's, I mean, he's gotten so much better this past couple of weeks. He's getting about 20 minutes a game and scoring, blocking some shots, rebounding, showing quite a bit of toughness. He's got the pedigree. His father's Adrian Griffin, the longtime NBA player. AJ, while definitely still a prospect, he's shown enough that I would definitely take him in the top 10. Shooting three-pointers, playing solid defense, strong, tough. That's a definite San Antonio Spur if I've ever seen one. The Spurs, they refuse to tank. They refuse to bottom out. But I think this is a great get for them right now. They got a lot of intriguing talent, and if Griffin can continue to play like he has, I think he's gonna continue to rise. So yeah, he's a new addition, but a definite lottery pick. He just needed to show what he could do. He's a project, but he's really good. Yeah, so Duke is loaded, if you didn't know that already. But they've found minutes for Griffin, and he's producing. So pick 10, the Spurs select AJ Griffin from Duke. All right, pick 11, the Raptors select Jaden Hardy, who is playing in the G League right now. Hardy was a top 3 recruit who chose to go to the G League, and it's been an adventure. He's definitely got scoring talent, but he is not efficient at all right now, and probably is the 4th best player on the Ignite this year, behind Beauchamp, Scoot Henderson, and Michael Foster. The talent's there, so I can't drop him out of the lottery, but I can't put him in the top 5 right now until he shows more consistency, and I don't think that's really going to happen with so many guys on the Ignite fighting for draft position and fighting for shots and things like that. It's not an ideal situation, but throw him in the pre-draft process and throw him in the combine, he'll probably show what he can do. I think he's still going to be a good NBA player, but I think he's more of a mid to late lottery guy than a top 5 pick that I thought he was, and a lot of people were putting him before the season started. As far as the Raptors, did you see that lineup they trotted out last night? Yeah, so needless to say, they just need young talent everywhere, and this is a good spot just to draft the best player available and hope for the best. So pick 11, the Raptors select Jaden Hardy from the G League. All right, with pick 12, Minnesota Timberwolves select Caleb Houston, wing player from Michigan. A top recruit who really, like a lot of freshmen who really struggled to begin the year. It was expected because these are the kids who played high school during the pandemic and really were not able to do a lot of things that prospects were able to do in previous seasons. So I expect struggles coming out the gate. Michigan has struggled as a whole, but they're giving Houston minutes. His percentages and his scoring has crept up. A good indicator of success right now is 83% free throw percentage and 36% from threes. So while he hasn't produced quite as well as the Wolverines and Juwan Howard would have hoped, I still would take him in the late lottery. He's got good potential. Minnesota is playing well, surprisingly well. Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, obviously one of the best young duos in the NBA. Throw a guy like Houston who's got good length and a good shooting stroke in there, he'd be a good fit. Yeah, and this is for the NBA 2K side of this draft. Look at these muscles. I couldn't get him any. I don't know why he came out so freaking ripped, but I couldn't get that body to change. So yeah, Caleb Houston, who's skinny in real life, is a tank in this game. But anyway, moving on. The Timberwolves select Caleb Houston from Michigan. All right, with the 13th pick, the Atlanta Hawks select point guard Ty Ty Washington Jr. from Kentucky. So the Hawks have struggled big time this year, which I'm not surprised. I mean, Nate McMillan is not a great coach. They kind of rode the high of making the NBA Eastern Conference Finals last year and signed him to an extension. But I mean, he's average, and now the Hawks are average. They have Trae Young, and they got talent. Trae Young, John Collins, but like all but about 5 teams in the NBA, they're hovering right around 500, struggling to be consistent. This season's a mess. But they usually just take the best player available. Yeah, you got Trae Young as a starter, but Ty Washington, it will be a good combo guard who can play some shooting guard in a pinch and can also spell Young when he's on the bench. Yeah, so as far as Washington, he's the rare freshman starter for Kentucky this year who went very veteran heavy. But Washington, I mean, he's doing everything he could do. Shooting 50% from the field, 81% free throw, 38% three-pointers. Not really turning the ball over very much. Playing very solid point guard. Sorry. This is not a great class for point guards. I got him at 13, but if a team really needs a point guard, he could be higher than that. The only thing holding him back is that there's not a lot of teams out there that really need a starting point guard right now. So the Hawks would be like, yeah, I'll take him at pick 13. He's a great value right here. I think he's easily the best point guard in this class, and he's solid all across the board. So good pick by the Hawks here, who select Ty Washington Jr. from Kentucky. With pick 14, the Boston Celtics select Kennedy Chandler, point guard from Tennessee. So, yeah, I just said that not a lot of teams need starting point guards. Boston probably does. They picked up Dennis Schroeder off the bargain bin free agent pile, and he's been pretty good this year, but he's probably not a long-term option. Chandler, he's a stud. The only thing holding him back really is his size and the fact that he's not the most explosive athlete in the world, but he can shoot, handle the ball, take great care of it. I mean, he's your old school lead point guard, you know, quick, a good shooter, great distributor, great vision. Will he be an amazing starter in the NBA? I don't know, but I think he'll definitely be a starting point guard. I think you can do a lot worse than trying to develop him, especially if you're Boston, who's kind of a mess right now. Who knows where they're going to go? But you can say that about most teams in the NBA this year. It's a mess of a season. So, yeah. Pick 14, the Celtics select Kennedy Chandler from Tennessee. With pick 15, the Dallas Mavericks select Johnny Davis, shooting guard from Wisconsin. Probably the best player that nobody's really heard of this year. Davis is killing it for Wisconsin. One of the better shooters in college basketball, 20 points per game, way up from 7 as a freshman. Basically just the dude gets buckets, shooting 38% from three-point line. And that's what you're getting. You're getting a guy who can really shoot the ball, and especially for a team like Dallas, who's just, they got Doncic and they got Porzingis and a whole bunch of little role players. So Davis should be able to get quite a bit of looks, and he doesn't really do a whole lot else besides shoot, but that shooting is just so good that he's going to be selected in the first round when and if he declares. So yeah, Dallas with pick 15 selects Johnny Davis from Wisconsin. With pick 16, Memphis Grizzlies, the first of 3 first-round draft picks, this one from the Lakers, selects Dyson Daniels, the Australian who is playing in the G League right now. Like I said in my last video, it's lazy to compare Australians to Australians, I know, but he reminds me of what Dante Exum should have been coming out of Australia. Big, tall, a good ball handler, a good defender, can really get to the rim. Like I said during my Jaden Hardy analysis, he's fighting for minutes, and he's fighting for touches, and he's fighting for the eyes of the scouts with all the other Ignite players. Very young, a definite prospect, but he could be a pretty decent player. The Grizzlies have 3 first-round picks, so best player available. I mean, it's really best player available from this point on out in the draft anyway. You're just trying to get a guy who can contribute. We'll see if Daniels can hone his game and become a solid NBA contributor. So pick 16, the Grizzlies select Dyson Daniels, the combo guard from Australia. With pick 17, Charlotte Hornets select Nikola Jovic, power forward from Serbia. So the Hornets are very guard heavy right now. You got LaMelo Ball, obviously. You got Terry Rozier. You got Martin, who's really come on this year. Drafted Bo Knight. Yeah, I mean, the Hornets are pretty solid everywhere. But this is a good place to try to cash in the potential of Jovic, who is all offense, no defense at all. But at this point in the draft, he's a good value. Like most European big men coming into the league these days, he can really shoot it. He's a good athlete. Yeah, so you're getting a stretch 4, and that's really all you can say about him. But hey, it's pick 17, and this guy could be he could be a very, very good offensive player. You just have to hide him on defense, kind of. But you used to say that about his big brother Nikola Jokic, and Jokic has become a pretty good defender. So if he can put in the work, he could be a starter in this league. The other Nikola out of Serbia. So pick 17, the Hornets select Nikola Jovic from Serbia. All right, with pick 18, the Denver Nuggets select, if I'm saying this right, I'm probably not, Ochai Agbaji, shooting guard from Kansas. The first senior to go in my mock. He's a guy who has improved every year in basically every category, and as a senior, he's just taken it to a completely new level. He can't be stopped, just to put it simply. You don't see guards shooting 56% from the field very often. But he is. I mean, he's just so efficient this year. He's shooting nearly 50% from three-point land. A good defender, but you're getting scoring, you're getting shooting, and you're getting a guy who has a lot of experience and can come in and play right away. Seniors often get knocked in the draft, but I mean, you think the Pacers like that they got Chris Duarte? He's 24, 25 years old already, but they don't seem to care. He's a producer, and I think you can get similar production from this guy here. The Nuggets, like every other team right now, have a ton of injuries and really could use some production off the bench, especially shooting and especially experience. So pick 18, the Nuggets select Agbaji from Kansas. All right, pick 19, the Washington Wizards select Gene Montero, point guard, Dominican Republic, who is playing for the Overtime Elite League, that league composed of some high school kids and stuff like that. Yeah, so the Wizards, after starting the season on fire, have fallen back to earth, but they're still a pretty solid team who will probably just take the best player available here. They definitely have a need for a young point guard on the roster. Montero, still quite young, and coming from the DR, which is definitely not a basketball hotbed, but he's quite talented. Like a lot of young point guards, he's not a great shooter and could use some coaching to tighten up his turnovers, but you can't teach his size, you can't teach his speed, and he could develop into something good. I can't put him much higher than this because he's such a project, and who knows. But first round, yeah, for sure, he's got talent, and if they can develop him, they got a future good player on their hands. So with pick 19, the Wizards select Gene Montero from the Dominican Republic. With the 20th pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder, this pick coming from the Clippers, select Ousmane Dieng, wing player from France. Yeah, this is the spot in the draft where you'll see quite a few European players go, especially with all these teams with multiple first-round picks. You can afford to draft these guys and try to develop them. Zhang, France. I got quite a few France players in this mock. They seem to be the best developer of talent outside the United States right now. Zhang is 6'9", 185, lanky wing player, good ball handler, good shooter, but a guy who needs a lot of development and a lot of coaching and a lot of time in the G League. But the Thunder, with all these first-round picks, can definitely afford to see what they can get out of him. So this is a good landing spot. So pick 20, Thunder select Ousmane Dieng. I'm probably saying that wrong because I cannot pronounce foreign names well at all. But yeah, from France. All right, with pick 21, the Philadelphia 76ers select Wendell Moore Jr., wing player from Duke. So yeah, we know the story about Moore right now. He was a top recruit who really struggled as a freshman. Got a little better as a sophomore, but has put it together big time as a junior. It's a strong testament to Duke having faith in him, and for Moore for not relying on that recruiting ranking status and really putting in work to become a better player instead of just taking off for the NBA and ending up in obscurity like so many other guys like him. So that hard work, I think, has put him in the first round for sure. Scoring at a high level, rebounding. He's got 5 assists a game compared to less than 2 turnovers, which is amazing for anybody, let alone a non-point guard. He's basically the de facto point guard on the Duke squad right now. And I mean, you can't ignore the first 2 seasons, which is why I don't have him higher in this mock. But I mean, the guy's put it together as a junior, and I would definitely, if I'm a playoff team, I would add him to the bench. You can't really go wrong, and he's going to provide, solid ball handling and scoring and defense. Definitely one of the role players, like the other guys on the Sixers. He's going to fit right in. Yeah, so this is a good pick right here. Is very proud of Moore. I'm acting like I'm his father. I'm just as a basketball fan and as a draft fan, it's good to see guys like this who really put in the work to become better players. And yeah, so the 76ers select Wendell Moore Jr. from Duke. With pick 22, the Memphis Grizzlies select Mark Williams, center from Duke. Back-to-back Dukies and the 4th Blue Devil selected in the first 22 picks. We saw what Mark Williams could do in that game against Gonzaga that the whole NBA draft community was watching. It's hard to get consistent touches on a team as stacked as Duke, but he makes the most of it. Yeah, not a shooter at all. But he's a great athlete, great defender, can run the floor, won't be a liability on offense or in transition. Yeah, I really like this prospect. I think he could wind up in the lottery if things fall right for him. If not, he can still work his way into a starting center in this league, I believe. The Grizzlies have 3 first-round picks, so best player available all around. And right now, that seems to be Mark Williams, center from Duke. With the 23rd pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select J.D. Davison, point guard from Alabama. Speaking of a guy who's been all over the place, he's put together some amazing games, and he's put together quite a bit of duds. Currently in the process of putting a few duds together, which he flies up and down my draft board. I really like the guy. I mean, he can handle the ball, he can rebound, he's tough, he's big. He doesn't look to shoot a whole lot, but when he does, he's not bad at it. But the consistency is just not there right now. Still, though, I like the talent, and I would take him in the top 20 picks or so. He slides just out of the top 20 here. And the Cavaliers have their starting point guard set with Darius Garland. But, hey, pick 23. You just take the best talent available. Speaking of which, the Cavaliers are on fire. Pick 23 for Cleveland is Pick 23 for a non-LeBron James-led Cavaliers. We haven't said that in decades, so good for them. Pick 23, the Cavaliers select J.D. Davison from Alabama. All right, pick 24, Houston Rockets, by way of the Miami Heat, select Terry Eason, big man from LSU. This is my second new addition to my mock. Another guy who's just exploded with more minutes. LSU is undefeated, and Eason is the best player on the team. Very athletic, new school, springy, quick power forward. Can shoot the ball, play defense, run the floor. I mean, I say that about a lot of these guys, but here's another one who's just built for today's NBA. Honestly, a guy I have not really looked into much, but when I pulled up the old PER rankings, which isn't everything, but it gives you a good view of who some great prospects are. Eason was right there at the top. So digging into his game a little more, I'm impressed. I think this is a guy who can continue to rise if he continues to play the way he has. Right now, this is a Rockets team with not a lot in the way of young talent, so just draft players and hope for the best. And Eason, my newest addition to my mock draft, goes to Houston with pick 24. With the 25th pick in the first round, the Milwaukee Bucks select Christian Koloko, center from Arizona. Yeah, I guess I might be a bigger fan of his than most. He really didn't do much his first 2 years in college, but this year, he's having a great season. Still, as a junior, his offense is very hit and miss, but he can hang his hat on the fact that he can block shots, run the floor, play defense. So even if his shot's not falling, he's still a valuable contributor. 3.3 blocks per game, 7 rebounds a game, 62% from the field. So yeah, even as a junior, he's quite a prospect, but we see guys like this go in the late first round all the time. The Bucks could use a young player who can come in on defense and just block some shots and rebound and foul and that kind of stuff. So Koloko, who might be more of a second round pick, but I'll throw him at the end of the first round because I like his potential, even as a junior. So pick 25, the Bucks select Christian Koloko, big man from Arizona. With pick 26, Chicago Bulls select Trevor Keels, wing player from Duke, the 5th Duke player to go in the first 26 picks. Keels, yeah, they're giving him 30 minutes a game. He's not an amazing offensive player, but I like his toughness. I like his tenacity. He's a good on-the-ball defender, and I think his offense is good enough to keep people honest. Might be a very poor man's Tony Allen. I know that's a lazy comparison, but I like him as a defender. We'll see if the offense ever comes around. Right now, he's holding his own for a team that's got a lot of great players to take the attention off of him. He might be more of an early second-round pick, but if you get 30 minutes a game as a freshman for a team as good as Duke, you're going to declare, and you will probably be a first-round pick. So the Bulls, who would prefer probably to draft a big man here, but there really wasn't any available that I liked, go with Trevor Keels, wing player from Duke. With pick 27, Miami Heat from the Brooklyn Nets select Christian Braun, shooting guard from Kansas. Another player who was a solid role player for Kansas, who is the rare great team who just develops their players and brings them along slowly, has put it all together as a junior. Shooting 62% from the field, 35% from three-point land, 80% from free throw. I like guys who can shoot. What can I say? The NBA is a league that can never have enough shooters, and if you can shoot, and if you have good size, and if you're a strong defender, which Braun is, he's got over a block a game, over a steal a game, I think you're going to find your way in the first round. I might be one of the only people who actually have him in the first round, but I like his game. I think it's NBA friendly, and I think a team like the Heat could use him coming off the bench for a few minutes a game. So, pick 27, the Heat select Christian Braun from Kansas. With pick 28, the Memphis Grizzlies, this pick coming from the Utah Jazz, select Azuolas Tubelis, power forward from Arizona. Not the best athlete, which is why I have him this low. A lot of people don't even have him in the first round. They think he's more of a second-round guy. But he's a solid shooter, good size, struggling with efficiency right now, but I think he can put it together. I think he's a Lithuanian who chose to come to college instead of going to the NBA. And I think sometimes that hurts European prospects. I think the mystique of being in Europe or wherever helps when it comes to the draft. And if you go to college, you're just another guy. I had him as a late lottery pick early in the year, and he's just gone down and down and down. And he's about to fall out of the first round because he's just not the most efficient right now. But hey, he's got good size, can shoot the ball, a solid enough defender, not much of an athlete, but good enough to be passable. And hey, it's pick 29. Memphis has 3 picks. So there you go. Azuolas Tubelis from Arizona. With pick 29, Oklahoma City Thunder, with their 3rd pick of the first round, this one from the Suns, select, and I will probably say this wrong. I'm sorry I don't research these names ahead of time. I really should do that. Moussa Diabate, center, power forward from Michigan. Another guy who chose to go to college instead of working his way to the NBA. Another French player. He's having a good season as a rotational big for Michigan. I think he's the type of guy, you see a few every year, freshmen that aren't getting big minutes, but still declare for the draft anyway based on potential. This is one of those guys, and I have him just squeezed into the first round thanks to the Thunder having 3 picks. A good enough shooter, a great athlete, a solid defender and rebounder. You see a lot of these guys every year. The Kai Jones, Jackson Hayes type. Do they often pan out? No, but hey, it's pick 29. Thunder have 3 picks. This is a good developmental prospect for them. So, there you go. This man, who I will not butcher his name again, goes to the Thunder with pick 29. And with the 30th and final pick in the first round, the Golden State Warriors select Johnny Juzang from UCLA. The Warriors they like to use draft picks on bench players, and you see guys like Jordan Poole, who was drafted around this spot a few years ago, really stepping up. They do a good job of supplementing their stars with rookies. Juzang's one of quite a few good upperclassmen on UCLA's roster. I think he can be a solid wing contributor right away, especially for a guy taken this low. So the Warriors, who are back to being the Warriors, select Johnny Juzang with the last pick of the first round. So that's the first round, and for the second round, I'm not going to do analysis. I'm just going to read off the players, or this video will be 3 hours long. Thank you. With pick 31, the San Antonio Spurs select Jabari Walker, power forward from Colorado. With pick 32, the Orlando Magic select shooting guard Bryce McGowens from Nebraska. With pick 33, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Michael Foster Jr., United States, who is currently playing in the G League. With the 34th pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Marjon Beauchamp, another player for the G League Ignite. With pick 35, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Yannick Zosa, big man from Congo. With the 37th pick, the Portland Trailblazers select Jamie Jaquez Jr. from UCLA. With the 38th pick, the Orlando Magic select point guard Max Abmas from Oral Roberts. With the 39th pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Isaiah Mobley from USC. Yes, this is the brother of Evan Mobley, and yes, I was trying to be cute by putting them both on the same team. That's all. With the 40th pick, the New York Knicks select Armando Bacot, center from North Carolina. With the 41st pick, the Golden State Warriors select shooting guard Michael DeVoe from Georgia Tech. With the 42nd pick, Dallas Mavericks select Caleb Love, point guard from North Carolina. With the 43rd pick, the Atlanta Hawks select E.J. Liddell, power forward from Ohio State. With the 44th pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Trace Jackson Davis, power forward from Indiana. With the 45th pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Orlando Robinson, center from Fresno State. With the 46th pick, the Boston Celtics select, if I say this right, I probably won't, Julian Champagnie from St. John's. With the 47th pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Ibo Dianko-Badji. If I said that right, I probably did not. Center from Senegal. With the 48th pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Justin Moore, shooting guard from Villanova. With the 49th pick, the Miami Heat select Iverson Molinar, point guard, Mississippi State. With the 50th pick, the Los Angeles Clippers select Oscar Tshiebwe, big man from Kentucky. With the 51st pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Darian Sebron, wing player from North Carolina State. With the 52nd pick, the Utah Jazz select Ismail Kamagate, big man from France. With the 53rd pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Efton Reed, center from LSU. With the 54th pick, the Indiana Pacers select Pete Nance, big man from Northwestern. The Milwaukee Bucks had to forfeit their second round pick from the whole tampering thing from last year. So that's pick 55. Moving to pick 56, the Sacramento Kings select Malcolm Cazalon, wing player from France. With the 57th pick, the Detroit Pistons select Aminu Mohammed, wing player from Georgetown. And yeah, he looks like a freaking NFL linebacker. I couldn't make his body size any smaller, so he looks like a tank. I mean, that's not an NBA player's body, but there's nothing I can do about it. Thanks for not allowing me to adjust body type, NBA 2K. With the 58th pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Hugo Besson, point guard from France. And yeah, he's got bleached white hair. Look it up on Google if you feel like it. With the 59th pick, the Phoenix Suns select Andrew Nembhard, point guard from Gonzaga. And with the 60th and final pick in the second round, Golden State Warriors select Kofi Cockburn, center from Illinois. And that concludes my mock draft for December 27th. If you guys reached the end, hey, I appreciate it. This is a long video. It took me hours to make. I hope you guys like this series. I'm going to keep doing it. Please subscribe, like, comment if you enjoy it. Comment if you would pick anybody else. Comment if you hate it and you think my picks are terrible. Whatever. Just comment and start a discussion at the bottom, all right? This draft class is coming soon. I've looked at the other classes on the share, and they're really terrible, especially the top ones who probably only have like 30 or 40 outdated players created. This one's totally up to date. All the players will be real. It's coming soon. So thanks for sticking through to the end of this video, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.